To demonstrate the different type of annotations, we will be reusing one of the CDS views that we have already created, the CDS views with association. So I'm going to use this and copy the CDS view to another CDS by doing a right click and duplicate. Let me call it 03 and click next, click finish. I'll just rename the SQL view name to 03 and I will save it and activate. Now here if we see there are a couple of ABAP catalog annotations. SQL view name indicates the CDS or the view name that is created at the database level. Now if I put the cursor and then press F1, it gives me some information about these annotations, ABAP catalog annotation. So it has several other sub annotations like preserve key, which specifies more information about the keys in the CDS view. SQL view name is what we were trying to look up, and this is a 16-character string that indicates the name of the SQL view name. The ABAP catalog compiler.compareFilter, for instance, defines the evaluation of filter condition or path expression. If I click filter condition, it tells me more about the conditions like the inner or left outer join. Let me minimize this. Now there is something called access control.authorization check. So there is the access control annotation again. So if I put the cursor and press F1, we can see the documentation of this particular annotation. So it can have these possible values: check, not required, not allowed. So when we say check, for instance, here in this case we are specifying it is check, it should be associated with a DCL object which do not have association with this particular CDS view name at the moment. So if I do a syntax check, control F2, it will give an error or warning message, not an error message. DCL does not support no access control. So let's do a quick data preview of this CDS view and then we'll create a DCL object to handle this association with the access control annotation. Let me do a data preview. Open with data preview. Now if I do a right click here and follow association, I can see the data associated with this AA. Let me just copy it and create an authorization or DCL. I'll right click on access control and create new access control. I'll click next. and I'll just click finish. I don't want to pick the template. Let me change this CDS entity and straight away I'll change this to our ID equals DL. Let me activate this. So it displays only DL, automatically filtered based on the DCL. Now I'm going to change the value for this annotation. I'll delete it and do control space and I'll select not allowed and then activate this. If I do a data preview, though I still have that DCL not modified, I see that everything is picked up, meaning this is not effective. So it is controlled by this annotation and a value. Next, let's publish this as OData, which is the framework specific annotation, iterate OData, publish true. Now, when we enter the OData.publish true and activate it and put the cursor on this yellow icon, it says view has generated objects, service whatever name, usually it's the CDS view name underscore CDS is not active. So to activate this, we need to go to the backend. I'm in the backend system. Now we need to execute this transaction iwfnd slash main underscore service. If I execute this and do an add service, select the system alias local and let me just search with this. So this is the service name and I'm going to select this and click add selected services. Select a package, in this case the local object, and click continue. Now the metadata has been loaded successfully. Let me navigate back to Eclipse and now I should see the URL here, OData service. If I click this, it opens up the browser and let me change this with $metadata to see the metadata of the OData service. Now this is what we see, the metadata of the OData service. If I look carefully here, I have two entity set names here. This is the entity set name. Now I'll replace this metadata with the entity set name here, the slash and enter. Now this is the result that we saw in the data preview. Entity set name with airlines AA. Now if I want to see the association, I'll just copy this and replace it with this here in the browser bar. Now I see the two entries. I'm switching back to Eclipse. We'll do a data preview just to confirm the data. Open with data preview here. initially, even on the O data, that URL also we show all these entries. Now if I right click and do a follow association, I see only these two entries, and this is exactly what I see here: New York, San Francisco, and San Francisco to New York. Now I've changed the value of access control authorization back to check and activate it. Let me do a data preview. Since we have specified only DL in the DCL, only the DL entry is displayed here. Let me switch back to the URL or data URL. Now I see only the DL entries here. I don't see any other entries. Let me copy this link and then paste it on the browser. Replace this with that and enter, and this is what we see: the details. One connection ID 106.1699 and 1984. So let me do a follow association, and these are the exact entries that we saw on the browser: 106.1699 and 1984. So that is how we use the annotations, and there are several bunch of annotations that we need to explore, and we can do that by reading the relevant documentation. That completes the demo on CDS annotations.